Hello, this is me apologising to Granny because I confused her this afternoon, and we are going to work on the Trinity cat blanket. The chain usually needs to be about 20 inches long, and of even number, but because we're just doing a quick demo, I'm going to do 10 chains. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to work through the pattern bit by bit with you. So the first thing it asks you to do is to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So I'll do that. That's pretty straightforward. So single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Now this is where it gets confusing if you've never done this before. It asks you to do a single crochet 3 together. And this, where you previously worked that single crochet, that chain there is where you poke for the first time. So it's 1, 2, 3 single crochet together. So poke in there first, 1, next one along, 2 and 3. Oops. So that's your 3 single crochet together. And then you chain 1. So you've got a little mini cluster. And you see the legs, 1, 2, 3. I think the pattern is overly wordy when it's trying to, or I've done it so it's probably too wordy. That basically is your pattern repeat all the way across. So I'll do a couple of rows for you, but I think that's the main thing, is that you work the first leg of your single crochet 3 together in the last leg of the previous one. So the pattern says chain 1, which I've done, single crochet 3 together, hook in the same as third leg of previous cluster. That is completely, I don't know why I've written it that way. So what that means is the first leg of the single crochet 3 together is done in the last chain of the previous cluster. So can we see that has been previously worked there? That is the last leg of the previous cluster. So I'm going to poke in 1, the next chain along 2, next chain along 3. So that's my single crochet 3 together. So I'm going to take all that off, and then I chain 1. So actually the chain 1 is the start of the repeat. So I'll do it again. So the repeat is chain 1, which I have done, single crochet 3 together, the first single crochet being worked into, I can't see it from there, sorry, the first single crochet being worked into the same chain as the last single crochet of your cluster. So that's 1, 2, 3. There's your single crochet 3 together. Okay, so here is the last leg of the cluster. This is the chain here that is, I don't know if that's coming, there we go. So the focus is better. So that's the last leg, that's the last chain of the previous cluster. So I'm going to start the repeat by doing 1 chain. And I'm going to start my single crochet together by going into that chain that's been worked before. 1, 2, 3. And then that's my single crochet 3 together. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 mini clusters there. And that is worked to the end. Okay, so then it says to the last chain, 1 single crochet in the same chain as the third leg of the previous cluster. So that is the third leg of the previous cluster. I pulled it tight then, didn't I? Right. So that's a normal single crochet just to finish off that row, which squares at the end. So I'll do row 2 for you. I think, sorry Granny, I think the wording's just a bit rubbish. It is, the pattern's correct, it's just not well written, so I'll have to change that for you. So chain 1, and then we do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then it says single crochet 3 together by inserting the hook in the same place as the previous single crochet, and then in the top of the cluster and the next chain space, and that's all on the previous round. So we are working 1 single crochet into the last stitch, then we're going to work 1 single crochet into the top of the we're going to do 1 single crochet in the top of the cluster, which I'm now confusing myself, which is there. And then 1 in the chain space, which is there. And then you take them all off. That's your little cluster. And chain, which I've done. So where have I got to? So this is the start of the repeat. Chain 1. And then you do a single crochet 3 together, inserting the hook in the same place as the 3rd leg of the previous cluster, which is there. Then in the top of the cluster, which is there, and then in the space next to it, which is there, and then we take them all off. So I think you just have to work out, I mean, I just want to say that is the top of the cluster. You can see because you've got the 2 sides leading up to it. That's probably the hardest one to find. But we do a chain 1, this is the last repeat. We poke into the same space as the last leg, we go into the top of the cluster, which is there, and then we go into the space, which is there. Then you take them all off. Once you get this is a super simple pattern, Granny. It's just one of those things that once you've got it, you've got it. So I've done the last cluster. I'm going to do a chain 1, and then 1 single crochet in the same place. Actually, there we go. There. It is a nice knit. I think it'll be. I think this is quite tight. But I think if you want it to be looser, I'm just thinking for a baby blanket for you, Granny. I think I would use a hook size a little bit bigger than normal. So I will do it one more time. And I will rewrite this to make it easier for you. So I'll try and word this next row in how I'd write the pattern again, because I think I just got too caught up in it last time. Okay, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 3 single crochet together, starting with position 1 is where you worked your last stitch, position 2 is the top of the cluster, position 3 is the chain space you made when you do your chain 1 from the previous round. Take them all off, and that's your little mini cluster finished. So we start by chaining 1. Now we single crochet 3 together. The first one is in the last stitch you made on the last cluster. Second one is in the top of the cluster from underneath. The third one is in the space. Pull it through, start again, chain 1, 1 single crochet in the last leg of the last cluster. I don't know whether you can see that, but there's the last cluster, there's the last leg, there's the last space, and then 2 into the top of the previous row's cluster, which is probably the hardest one to get into, then into the space, take them all off. Just checking, am I putting a chain 1? I'm going to put a chain 1 there, and then I'm going to pop the last stitch to end the row off nicely there. I hope that makes sense. I think it needs more. It's quite a nice pattern, but I don't think we've got enough of the pattern showing here for you to judge it. It's nice. Good luck. Let me know how you get on.